Hey guys, what's up? I got another review for you today. It's another collector's review, not a Super Sentai or Power Rangers review, but a Kamen Rider review. Um, I don't think I've ever done this before, at least when it comes to Kamen Rider. Obviously, I'm a huge Super Sentai Power Rangers fan, but I like Kamen Rider too. Almost anything tokusatsu. But I'm not going to bore you with anything other than this review today, as long as the review itself doesn't bore you. But I just wanted to really quick let you know that once again, there was no new episode of Power Rangers Ninja Steel this weekend. There was obviously um, no episode because I do believe they are on their mid-season break. So we're probably not going to see another episode, episode 9, until I'd probably give it, like I said, around the 4th of July, maybe. May even be longer than that, but I don't think so. I'm thinking like maybe the end of June, something like that. We'll probably start getting new episodes of Ninja Steel again. But I could be wrong. It could be sooner. But aside from that, I'm not going to stop doing the Ninja Steel episode reviews. I'm going to continue doing them as they air. But to get on with that, it's probably about 75 degrees outside right now. It's beautiful. It's getting warm in here, though. I'm going to have to start turning some stuff on. But regardless of any of that, let's go ahead and get this started. Today I have the Henshin brace. I say Henshin as in transformation. Um, Basically, it's the morpher for Kamen Riders. Henshin brace, Henshin drivers. Um, Traditionally, Kamen Riders have Henshin drivers. They're basically belts, obviously worn. They're like a morpher, except they're stationary. It could have alternate accessories. It could have lots of functions. It could only have one function. But I can easily tell you that most Henshin drivers, or just basically the morphers from Kamen Rider series, they're usually more highly detailed and have more features, light, sounds, things like that. Um, I've got a couple of more to show you, but I want to start with this one today. It is the Henshin brace for Kamen Rider Necrom from the series Kamen Rider Ghost. Um, Necrom is the tertiary rider in that series. He's the third one to appear. He was on and off good guy, bad guy, so you really couldn't tell half the time, but he fought the good guys, he fought the bad guys. In the end, he ended up being a good guy for the most part, so I'm not going to spoil anything other than that. If you want to know more, go ahead and check out Kamen Rider Ghost. But regardless, let's go ahead and get it started. It came in a really nice box here. I got this obviously from eBay, where I get everything else from. It's like obviously the best place in the world to shop if you're looking for things from out of the country, like collector's items, things from Japan, tokusatsu, as it were. But came in a really nice box. This is Kamen Rider Necrom. Really nice themed hero. He's all white and black and green. Kind of has this Spawn meets RoboCop kind of looks, kind of feel to it. But it's really cool. I like it. Uh, Obviously, in the Kamen Rider series, they all transform by saying the single word Henshin, which means transformation. Um, and then, of course, they perform their transformation depending on if they have a belt, a brace, whatever have you. But it's usually always a belt. This, however, is an exemption and is a Henshin brace. I can only think of maybe 2 other series that had Henshin braces instead of the traditional belts. Kamen Rider Hibiki, I believe, had a lot of different Henshin devices. They had whistles, bells, and this little wrist brace that was basically like a tiny little harp that they plucked to transform, which sounds strange, but again, if you watch the show, it would make sense. It's actually really cool. And then there's Kamen Rider Kabuto, which the main writers in that series, they do have Henshin drivers, which are the belts, but there are some supplementary Kamen Riders in that series who have Henshin braces instead, such as Kamen Rider the Bee, or Kamen Rider Wasp, as he's known. But let's go ahead and get on to the Henshin brace itself. Obviously, it's Bandai of Japan, the same people who make all of the Power Rangers Super Sentai stuff. Not Power Rangers, obviously, that's Bandai of America. Super Sentai, Bandai of Japan. But in any case, it's obviously made of a good sturdy plastic, really highly detailed, painted. When you compare it to the way it's supposed to look, let's go ahead and get a good picture here. Let's see, where's a good picture here? There we go, right on the bottom here is a good picture. if you see how that's supposed to look there, the driver itself, it looks almost, exactly like it. And very few instances have I ever come across where the morpher, the toy, actually looks damn near like the one on the show. Like that's just what they use on the show. But I really doubt it, considering this is it looks sturdy. It's made of sturdy material, but this has got some moving parts to it, which if you're not careful, they may break. But it has these nice vinyl, just bendable, flexible plastic wrist straps, basically. You can go ahead and put it on, or I can try to put it on anyway. It does fit me, obviously. Most wrist braces do fit me. I'm not an overly large guy, so even though this one, oh look at that, that's the last notch on that too, on the wrist part. That's the very last notch. So yeah, this actually does barely fit me. Let's go ahead and put it on the other one. And they just have these tiny little notches that you can place, and then the little loops to hold it in place. All right. Now, the on switch to this device is right here. Right off the bat, there's no real buttons, like face buttons or any displays or anything on this Henshin brace. It's a pretty, it's actually more simple than you would think. Yeah, it's got lots of nice detail work, really great paint job. Takes 3 AAAs. My pardon. It takes 3 AAA batteries, which I was surprised about. When you press this down initially, it does nothing. It just makes almost like a default, standby sound. But this button here on the side is actually to initiate the Henshin, or the transformation. It's got some interesting moving parts. Real quick though, I want to mention that Kamen Rider Necrom needs an Eyecon, just like the rest of the Kamen Riders, Kamen Rider Ghost and Spectre in the series Kamen Rider Ghost. They need the Eyecons to transform. Now, this is an Eyecon, okay? Stay with me now. This is an Eyecon. It goes in here to activate the device, to activate the Henshin, or the transformation. Now, do you see this box right here? You see how it's got Kamen Rider Necrom, the Henshin brace, and it has the Eyecon on here, right? Right? That would lead you to assume that this comes with the Eyecon, correct? You'd be wrong. This did not come with the Eyecon. And here's the kicker. This is what really burned me, and this will probably burn anyone else who's ever gotten this. Apparently, I've checked into it, and this does not come. The Henshin brace does not come with Kamen Rider Necrom's Eyecon. I've almost never heard of that before. Every Henshin driver or Super Sentai or Power Rangers morpher, if it has an external, function, something required to work the essential features of the toy, it usually comes with it. This did not, and it blew my mind. And this is what also blew my mind. The fact that this right here cost me $80. $80 for this Henshin brace on eBay. And I only got it about less than 6 months ago. It's probably been 4 months since I got this in the mail. And brand new, mind you, brand new in box. It was still hermetically sealed and everything. And I get it out, and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Where's the Eyecon? I must have tore this box apart, nearly tore it apart, trying to look for the Eyecon, and I could not find it. And when I found out that it was not included, I went back on eBay and I looked for the Eyecon separately. And what I saw, I almost wanted to throw my phone across the across the house, and I can hear downstairs. It sounds like my fiance Jessica's getting mad at Skyrim, which is funny. But I digress. I'll continue on with this. I just can't get over that though. The Eyecon should have come with it. When I looked on eBay, when I saw the price for this by itself on eBay, this cost more than the Henshin brace, and I about lost it. This was $95. $95 for this little piece of plastic that just makes 3 separate sounds. Doesn't light up, doesn't have any other moving parts, except this is what it does.
Stand by. Loading. Destroy.
That's it. That is absolutely it. And this costs $95. And the description on eBay said it was rare. Said this was rare. The series is not even a year old yet. I mean, it ended. Yeah, they're on Kamen Rider X8 now, which is a series after Ghost. And I think they're on like episode 28 or 29 of X8, I think. But Ghost, I mean, this started airing in 2000, like late 2015, early 2016. So why they had to label this as rare, I have absolutely no idea. But it infuriated me to no end that I had to pay more for this small piece of plastic than I did for this huge hunk of plastic. So again, I guess it's whatever. But so right off the bat, they kind of rip you off with this. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Now, if this came included with this, everything would have been peachy king. It would have been fine. I wouldn't have had any gripe about it. But aside from my gripe, I should probably show you guys how the toy actually works. That's probably what you're here for, and I don't want to run this review any longer than it needs to be. But the device is already on. I can turn it off and turn it back on just to show you. Again, the on switch is here. Quick light up and sound. You press this once.
Stand by.
And make sure that the N for Necrom, the shiny holographic decal, is facing outward, and the face of the Eyecon is facing basically up. And you put it here.
Yes, sir.
And now it's in standby mode. Now what you do is you take your thumb and index finger here, and you twist this upward. Don't just pull it up, you twist it up. And then you press and hold the Henshin device button right here, the activation button.
Loading.
And now the Henshin process begins. So obviously they just say Henshin, and you hit this button right on the top here. And that's the initial Henshin sound and function. The toy has 2 other sounds, basically 2 other modes, which again, I was getting to that. That's going to be my next gripe, is the fact that as much as this was, there's only 3 initial sounds and functions with one or without an icon at all. I would basically need several other icons, obviously, to collect from Kamen Rider Necrom to complete the collection and to get all of the actual sounds from this Henshin device. So as the icon is still in, you're going to take this and flip it back down and hit the transformation button again one more time and hold it. And you get a secondary sound. And this is where they would probably say die Henshin, which would mean great transformation. And this obviously is like a supplemental power almost, or just a second transformation. Okay. Now it has one more sound. I know it's almost disappointing, but obviously I would need more icons, which I might actually buy and do a review of later on. But you can easily take this out. It does make that sound when you remove the icon. But when it has no icon in it whatsoever, and you press and hold the Henshin trigger, it makes the exact same transformation jingle or sound or whatever have you. Hit the activation button. that time it said Ghost, not Necrom. So I don't really know what that's about. I didn't think that Kamen Rider Necrom could use any powers from Kamen Rider Ghost. Um, but same series, it just might have something to do with that. Again, I don't speak fluent Japanese. I'm an amateur and I'm learning, but it's I'm pretty fairly certain that it's basically just like a default sound almost, because maybe the fact that this did not come with the Eyecon sold with it brand new, that maybe, oh, well, we got to give them some kind of sound to do without the Eyecon before they actually go out and realize, oh, they've got to buy the Eyecon separately. Um, but I don't understand why it makes that the ghost transformation sound, but who knows? It's still cool. It's, it's whatever. I'm not gonna argue much about that. But aside from the rest of that, it's actually quite comfortable. As odd as that sounds, it's a pretty good hefty hunk of plastic. I'd say it's probably like I don't know, a quarter of a pound, maybe a third of a pound, something like that. It's not. So it's pretty hefty and it's pretty durable too. Um, Even though it moves on this interesting little pin swivel, this joint here that, like I said, you don't just pull this up, you've got to twist it up. It's really odd. I almost learned that the hard way when I went to go yank on it, and I heard I just felt too much resistance. I'm like, wait a second, how does this work? So I just started fidgeting with it, and eventually you get it. But again, I mean, $80 for this, didn't come with this, and this was sold separately. $95 just for the Eyecon. I'm just going to go ahead and say, unless you have the full collection, this is just kind of a lackluster Henshin brace. But it's still aesthetically pleasing, and personally, Kamen Rider Necrom is one of my favorite Kamen Riders. Just, again, aesthetic-wise, I mean, he's really cool looking. The character is really unique, and I'd like to have its cosplay. I'm not even going to lie. That might be something for the future that I'll go ahead and show and share with you all as soon as I get more updates. But speaking of cosplay, once again, I got another con coming up in August, and I'm gearing everything up, basically getting everything back together. I'm ordering some more stuff from Kamen Rider Nimoy this week to finish off a couple more cosplays, including my Toki number 6, or Toki Rokugo from Resha Sentai Tokyuger, another skip series by Saban. So get ready, I'll be sharing you guys with my full Orange Ranger cosplay here soon, as well as a couple other things. Again, I got more toy collector reviews coming. Can't really talk much more about this because there's not much more to talk about. That's pretty much it. It's all gone. It's all said and done. So until next time, guys, Rangers ready